In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was a formless void, and the heavens and the earth were in darkness. Then God said, "Let there be light." Light streamed in, warming the earth and the heavens. God saw that this light was good. God separated light from darkness, and called the light day, and the dark night. And there was evening, and there was morning, which separated the day from the night. Thus night came over the first day. On the morning of the second day, God said, "Let there be a dome in the middle of the waters." The dome stretched above all waters and formed the sky. Night fell on the second day. The next day God said, "Let the waters be gathered together, and let dry land appear." And so it was. God called the dry land earth, and the waters seas, and saw that it was good. "Let the earth bear fruit," said God, and immediately plants and trees of all kinds filled the earth. The earth became rich and green. God saw that this was good, and night fell on the third day. On the fourth day God said, "Let there be lights in the heavens to separate night from day, the days into weeks, and seasons into years." God created two lights, a greater and a lesser, and set them in the sky to be the sun and the moon. He also created the stars, and set them above with the moon. The sun rose on the fifth day, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures, in the air and the seas, and on dry land." Creatures of all shapes and sizes began to fill the earth, and God blessed them by saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters and the skies and the land." God saw that this was good, and night fell on the fifth day. On the morning of the sixth day, God created man in his image, and called him Adam. From one of Adam's ribs, he created the first woman. She was called Eve, and was given to Adam to be his mate. God said to his creations, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth with your offspring, and rule over the land and all of its creatures. Every plant that bears fruit, and every creature on this earth is for you." And God saw that all of this was good. On the evening of the sixth day, God had finished with the creation of the earth. On the seventh day, God rested after all the work he had done. He blessed this day and called on all of his creations to rest on the seventh day of every week. The earth he created was a paradise, where Adam and Eve and all God's creatures lived in perfect harmony. This was the Garden of Eden. In the center of the garden, God planted a large apple tree. He said to Adam and Eve, "All of what you see is yours, but I forbid you to eat the fruits of this apple tree. Promise me that you will never touch them." Adam and Eve promised quickly and didn't think about it again. Until one day, when Eve was alone, a snake came to her and spoke. "Why don't you eat one of those apples?" he said in a low voice. "Certainly not. We have made a promise to God not to touch that fruit," said she. "But surely you realize that those apples give whomever eats them great wisdom and knowledge. Surely God would want his creations to have this." The snake went on and on until Eve could no longer resist. She ate a bite of one of the apples and gave one to Adam, who also ate. Suddenly Adam and Eve possessed great wisdom and knowledge, just as the snake said they would. They immediately realized that they were naked. This made them ashamed, and they quickly covered themselves with leaves. God came to them later that day. He noticed that they were no longer naked. "You have eaten the fruit I forbade you to eat." "It was Eve. She gave me the fruit to eat." "It was the snake. He tempted me so I couldn't resist." God was furious. He sent them out of the Garden of Eden forever and cursed them as they were leaving. "Adam, because you allowed yourself to be tempted by Eve, You and all the men after you shall be punished by having to toil and suffer to live. The earth will yield her fruits to you only by hard and painful work. Eve, because you allowed yourself to be tempted by the snake, you and all the women after you shall be punished by having to bear children in great pain, and you shall be the servant of your man. Snake, because of your wicked act, you shall be punished by having to spend your life on your belly. You and all of your offspring shall be hated by man. And so Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden forever. Thus their lives were harder, but they were wiser than all other animals to this day because of the apple they ate.